Oh, boy. And Mary, by the way, has quite the bod.
What?
Come on, Joey, between you and me. You and Mary, huh? You don't feel like it every now and then? What do you do?
No, you know what? We're leaving. That's it. Let's pack it up. We're leaving.
What? Come on, Joe.
I'm not going to stand for this. Don't Joe me. We're leaving. You will take it back. You will stand right here and take it back.
Please.
Take it back.
Shut up, Mary.
All right. So, Jeff, here we are, and we have today we have an extra special guest. I can't believe it's taken 3 seasons of this for us to get her on. But who's with us today?
Cheryl Hines.
Cheryl Hines.
Who I always tell people about our show, and I've been on a lot of shows. People care for each other, but I was probably the jerk on the Goldbergs.
Let's cut that out. Let's not go there. We're not mentioning it.
Leave it. It doesn't bother me. But the point being is, on our show, truly, there is so great love and affection with everyone, the crew too, but all of us who've been together for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
We've been together for so long. It's so funny to go back and watch these episodes. I know you were saying that, Susie, and I don't really watch.
Well, we're watching every single one.
Every single one.
I was
and
like
Cheryl,
you.
I want to tell Cheryl, and I told you this on set, I believe, this past season when we shot season 12, but rewatching you, and Jeff and I have mentioned it through season 1 and 2 that we've been watching, how amazing you are. Right, Jeff? I mean, we would go back and watch these episodes, and we would come and we would say, Cheryl is so fucking good.
Well, there's some stuff in the last, this episode, she's great, but in the last episode,
you're just amazing, Cheryl.
You are great, Cheryl. and by the way, we're kind of rediscovering how great you are.
Right, exactly.
We always thought, yeah, she's great. But like watching it, we're going, wow, this show could not exist without you.
No.
In terms of what you offer, Larry David's character could not exist.
And as a matter of fact, Jeff, there was a season 8, I believe, that Cheryl was not on after they got the divorce, and Larry brought her back because the show needed her.
Well, by the way, completely right. The show needed her. You know, he gets his mind set on something having nothing to do with Cheryl, but in terms of creative, the script.
Stories,
you can't argue with him. You can't reason.
I think it had to do with that he got divorced in real life.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So therefore, he was going to get divorced on the show. But then he realized that Cheryl was not.
And by the way,
real life.
then adding Ted, which is in the future, is a stroke of genius.
Brilliant.
It's so funny because then when you watch these old episodes and you see Ted, there have been little crumbs all along the way with Ted where.
He's in the first season twice.
He's in
the restaurant season. He's one of the investors.
Yeah.
Well, by the way,
while we have Cheryl, before we get into the episode, I just want to get into, Cheryl, what you remember about getting the part. Tell us about the whole history of that.
Ooh. Well, I just remember
2000 or 1999. I think
it was 1999. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No. It might have been the end of 98, beginning of 98. It might have been the
end of 98.
Yeah, because the show aired in 99, so I'm guessing it was 98. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I was performing at the Groundlings Theater.
Yeah, we had Lorraine Newman on, who's one of the founders of the Groundlings.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. So I was actually teaching. I think I was teaching and performing at the Groundlings at the time, as well as doing assistant work. And so on this is how I recall it. You know what I mean? I was supposed to have an audition for Curb. And by the way, it wasn't called Curb at the time. It was just like a Larry David project.
We had no title because we came, well, not we. Mine was Soup is Distracting, which I mentioned, because Larry, we're ordering soup and deli food. And Larry, we go, Larry, do you want soup? Because no, soup is distracting. And then he showed us why. And so when we all gave a name for what I wanted to call the show Soup is Distracting. And then he came in the next, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which clearly is much better than Soup is Distracting.
I like Soup is Distracting. You can still use it for something.
Yeah.
But I was, at that time in my career, I was doing little tiny, I'm not going to call them guest stars. I'll call them under fives, 5 lines and under mostly. And, but, you know, sort of making my way up the ladder, getting auditions for...
Did you have an agent? Did you have an agent at the time?
I had an agent, yes. I had...
No, so that's how you got the audition.
No.
No?
Okay, you tell me, Jeff.
She got the audition because Marla recommended her. That's
okay.
why.
Marla
included her in the casting. That's
right.
That's
Marla
why.
is Marla Garland, who Jeff
my
was
ex-wife.
formerly married to.
And she was a casting director who worked with Allison Jones on lots of things. Anyhow, Marla...
And is amazing, by the way. Marla is amazing. So is Allison.
Yeah.
A genius. Come on.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. But... I'm going to tell. I'm sorry to interrupt, Cheryl.
No, you tell.
No, because I want to tell. I think I talked about some when we did the first episode because it was kind of remarkable. What I mean by that is we saw a lot of actresses, excellent actresses who have gone on to be really famous. They were all good. There was not a bad one in the bunch. Cheryl came in and sat down and started doing the scenes with Larry. She was so contained and like nothing fazed her. And she also, without trying, unflappable, which you would describe her character. She also, in the audition, gave it to Larry without giving it to Larry. Like she put him in his place. I don't know if she even raised her voice.
Yeah,
but she took
attitude.
it and then just said, that's not going to work. And when she left the room, we all said, done. There you go. That's it. And it's true.
And what do you remember, Cheryl?
I remember I didn't really know who Larry David was, you know. I knew that he had created Seinfeld and with Jerry. And you know, and like I said, at that time I was doing a lot of auditioning, and I remember Marla walking me down the hallway. I remember her saying, "Don't touch Larry. It's all going to be improvised." And I did not even know what. I mean, Susie, you must have had this experience too. Like, I had no idea what I'm even walking into. I don't know what and by the way, it was a 1-hour special, right, at that time.
Yes.
I didn't know anything. And she said, you know, you and Larry are married and you don't take his bullshit. And I was like, okay. And that was really all I got. And then I walked in and I remember shaking Larry's hand. I'm sure I shook
him.
I know, because he stuck his hand out first. And I was like, oh, well, he's not as like, you know, I thought he was going to be like a
germaphobe.
Like a germaphobe in the corner.
Which, by the way,
he used to be. He can be.
And by the way, back then, and for the first few seasons of the show, anyone who came in who auditioned was told not to touch him. And when they left the room, this is not even COVID times, Larry would put the, you've seen him doing. Antibacterial on his hands. He's gotten way better. He does, I don't think he even does that anymore unless he's grossed out, but who knows when that was.
You know, from experience of being in the room later, watching people come in, I understand why somebody would say that, because in improv, since there's no script, it can go anywhere. And I remember somebody auditioning for a dentist or something, and the guy was about to go into Larry's mouth, and Larry was like, no, let's not do that. But I get it. It's, you know, you have, I don't know, 25 people coming in. But yeah, I remember Larry saying, all you need to know is, I I'm not eating chicken anymore. And we have a few kids. And I was like, okay.
Kids, you had kids.
We had kids.
Yeah, because that was in the hour. That was like, that was a big thing on our kids' lives, like all that. Which
We
I
had
think
two kids
That's
that we
right.
never
That's right.
saw.
I swear on
Well,
my
by the way,
children's life, I remember that.
I swear, by the way, that was only, the kids were only in there so he could say, I swear on my children's lives. That was the only reason that they had children. There was no, that's the way his mind works. There's no other reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they said, okay, we'll just start talking and, doing the scene. So Larry and I started talking, and then he said, what's for dinner? And I, rattled off some things like beans and potatoes and chicken cacciatore. And he said, I just told you I'm not eating chicken. I said, yeah, you don't have to eat it. And he said, well, why would you make it if you know I'm not eating chicken? I said, well, the rest of us still eat chicken, but you don't have to eat it.
You see, but it's an interesting thing, because that right there is the dynamic of the unflappability. Not like, okay, we're not eating chicken if you're not eating it. No, we're eating it, but you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And by the way,
that's the guyishness too of not being with a Jewish woman who would be either, what do you mean you're not eating chicken? Oh, you're eating chicken.
And by the way, we just had it with Richard Kind when we recorded, and Cheryl said she made turkey, and Richard goes, nah, I had that for lunch.
Yes.
And Cheryl, not thrown by it, goes, all right, I'll see what we can, do, and you're off. But that's the thing about her on the show. She's unflappable. She really is, yeah.
But I think the decision, the instinct that you had to say, well, we're eating chicken anyway, you don't have to have it. Just very matter of fact.
Yeah.
I think that's the key right there of the dynamic, right?
Right there for sure. That was what,
that got you the job, Cheryl.
Well, I don't know if that, but hold on. Don't even think that it didn't. That was maybe a moment of surprise for us of like, oh, what's going on here? Like raised our like, oh shit, let's go. All right.
Well, you know what? I think you would always hope when you're in Larry's position or whatever, that somebody is bringing something into the part that you never thought of. That's the beauty of having the.
Well, that's bonus stuff. JB did that when he came in for Leon. He did that too.
Yeah.
Cheryl did that.
Yeah.
Susie
Cheryl,
did that.
I didn't audition. Larry just gave me the part.
Did you not?
Yeah. No, he just called me up and gave me the part.
He said to me, what about Susie Essman? I saw her on the roast. It was a Jerry Stiller roast, right,
yeah.
Susie?
And I had known Larry for years.
And then he said, how about Susie for your wife? I said, fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah. I was so excited.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Well, because at the time, I mean, it was just, I didn't have a contract. It was a day play. You know what it was like in the beginning? We were just like, the little players. I got a barn. Let's do a show,
Yeah.
Well, by the way, HBO called us, and I've said this before, their little experimental show. That's what our nickname
Remember,
was.
Cheryl, we had no trailers, nothing.
No, we had nothing.
Wait. By the way, at this point in the show, we had a giant trailer with the makeup and hair and all the cast in this big trailer, and it was so fun. And yeah. So if I remember it correctly, that day when I auditioned, I did that scene, and then I was walking to the elevator, and then somebody came and said, can you do one more scene with Larry? And I said, yes. And Larry said, I just want to talk to you. I don't think you put enough milk in the kid's cereal bowl. And I said, cereal, yep.
And I said, I cover the flakes. And he said, just fill it up to the top. I said, no, I just cover the flakes. Like, that's all you need. And he goes, well, we can afford it. Just fill it up to the top. And I said, it's a waste of milk. And that was basically the scene. And then I think I got called later that day and that I got the job.
Yeah, but we were in the room. We were very excited that we had found the perfect wife, okay? And like I said, other actresses had chosen to raise their voice at Larry, and it turned into this loud argument. You were the one who hit him boom, boom, just by being unflappable. Just like, this is the way I do it. You don't like it? Tough. And you nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
And the rest is herstory.
If you
Yes,
will.
the rest is
If
her
you
story.
will.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
yes,
all right,
yes.
here we are, season 3, episode 9, Mary, Joseph, and Larry, which I believe is a classic.
It is a classic.
It's a classic
It's gotta
episode.
be.
There's some lines in this. And
my
we start
gosh.
Cheryl, what we do is we go through the whole episode. We start out that Larry is in the doctor's office, played by Jack Gallagher.
Oh,
Terrific.
by the way, stop being Larry's doctor when we did the down the road, the Nia Vardalos parking attendant thing. Did we already
Yeah.
do that? We didn't.
No.
No. So Jack's like, why am I not? Because you and your wife treated Larry like crap. Why would he go back to you as a doctor? but here you see him so jolly and happy and
He's
making
terrific
fun
in
of
it
Larry.
also.
Oh, he's terrific. And
He's
he's
terrific.
making fun of Larry going to the U2 concert.
But first, Larry is gagging.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Because
yes,
he has
that's right.
a pubic hair stuck in his mouth. We're not going to even go to
We don't need
how
to
that
discuss.
happened.
No.
Well,
And-
by the way, I just want to say, and I don't want to imply Larry in this because it didn't come from Larry's personal experience, but it's a true story.
Yeah.
Oh, that somebody had
Yes.
a pubic hair
Somebody-
stuck
It is
in
a
his
true
mouth.
story.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's why he's at the doctor. And the doctor then says, oh, I hear you went to the U2 concert. Now, we all know Larry is not the type to go to a U2
Well,
concert.
but hold on a second here. This is, I was going to talk about this later because I have a scene where he's in my office and I laugh at him because he says he went to U2. Because at that moment in time, he was so unhip. Not that U2 is necessarily so hip, but
They're hip enough.
yeah, they're hip enough. But back then, no, the idea of him being at a U2 concert or even a Paul Simon concert, which we have later is
No, that was, we already did that. That's where we went
did.
with Mary and
Okay.
Mary's mother.
Right.
Yeah.
So he knows Paul Simon from the 70s, whatever. But even then, him at a concert period, let alone U2. But what's amazing is, and this has been along the last 2 or 3 years of the show, is that he starts singing all day long different songs, including U2 songs that you know have no idea how he knows them.
Except he also sings a lot of show tunes.
Yeah, but those are the ones you know. Those are the ones you sing with him. You and Adam sing those with him. I don't know how Adam knows show tunes, but nonetheless, yeah, he'll sing songs that you just go, I would say to him, how do you know that? You know, in a future episode, maybe the next episode, I'm going to look on that playlist that they made of all the songs on
Oh, yeah.
Spotify. And I will mention, because you know what? I'll even look at a text I sent Larry of the songs where I go, how, where, when, how could you possibly know this song? You know, but yeah, so back then that was really funny.
And so the doctor says, I hear you went to a U concert. Larry wants to know, how do you know? The doctor's secretary called Larry's house, and Larry's housekeeper told the secretary he went to a U2 concert. Larry doesn't like the idea of people knowing where he is. And then they go into this something stuck in my throat, the pubic hair, and the doctor can either extract it, which would be painful, or just wait a few days and it'll flush itself out. It's far back. It's wrapped itself all around his uvula, whatever it is.
Which is so insane.
I know. And then that's done, and he comes home, and there's Cheryl, and she says, how was the doctor's appointment? And that they have to go get a tree before your parents get there. It's Christmas.
Christmas tree, yeah.
And Larry doesn't want a tree.
It's Christmas.
It's too weird, man.
No, listen.
Come on, that is just too weird.
man, you're gonna like
I'm
it.
a Jew. To have the tree in the house is bad luck. You know, my guy may think I'm switching or something. You know, he may not
I
understand.
think your guy is gonna be fine with it.
So what I found unusual about this is that you being Gentile, this is the first time you ever got a tree, is implied.
I know. It's funny. I was thinking that too. I was thinking, oh, maybe we usually go to their house or something. We just
Well, by the way, I would guess that.
Yeah.
But by the way, Marla, she's half and half, and she always wanted a tree. And I said, no, I've never had a tree. And then it occurred to me, years later, after we split, I go to the house and she's got a tree. She didn't wait a minute. She's got a tree, the lights, the whole thing. I go, oh God, I've always loved Christmas trees. And then it occurred to me, I'm not religious. What was I thinking? Saying no
We're standing
tree.
your ground.
Well,
I love
of course,
Christmas lights. I love the trees.
well,
I love
it's
the
festive.
time of year.
And it's the Hanukkah Festival of Lights.
Yeah, we don't put up
See?
lights for the Festival of Lights. I don't get
Well,
that.
no, we just light them.
I guess if we did. We'd put up blue and white ones, and
Right.
people would drive by and go, Jew. I bet you there's
Jew.
a mezuzah hanging up.
We have
And
a
I-
tree because my husband is not Jewish, but I make sure to I don't like a 5-point star on the top. I have a dog on top of my tree, a dog in a sled on top of my tree.
Okay.
I don't want anything religious. I'll have the tree, but nothing
hold on.
religious.
So you have a tree. You've always, since Jimmy had a tree?
Yeah, since Jimmy, not before Jimmy, but yeah.
No. Oh, that's
Because we
so
always
nice
had
of
Christmas
you.
with kids.
This is why you're so much smarter than I am. I will acknowledge that any day of the week. Your instincts, everything about you.
Susie's like,
I love
yeah.
you. No, it's true. I love you so much, Susie. And who do I turn to whenever I need
Who
advice?
can I turn to?
Susie Essman. All right, go.
I love you too, Jeff. And
Thanks,
Cheryl,
sweetie.
this is a big love fest.
It is a
And,
big love fest.
Yes.
Larry doesn't want a tree. He says for Jews it's bad luck, which is ridiculous. And then talking about tipping, he's going to leave you and go tip everybody and go tip at the
Country club.
And he
Okay.
comes upon
Hold
Dora,
on.
the housekeeper. He sees Dora dusting, and he's like, "Please don't tell people where I am. Just say I'm not home." And it's very awkward with Dora. And Larry tips her, and then he tips Carlos, the gardener.
Right.
You see how awkward he is with these people. Very good gardening. He doesn't know how to behave. And he says to Carlos, and this is old Larry from way back in the 80s from his act,
Feliz Navidad.
Gracias. Usted eres muy amable. Very kind.
You know what? You can use the two form with me.
Two?
Usted's a little formal for us. Why don't we use the two form?
Gracias, jefe. Gracias.
Is that okay?
No, sí.
Informal, too.
Sí.
Between
Sí.
us. We don't need usted.
Tú, yo. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. A two.
I feel we could use the two form with each other instead of
Yes,
usted.
that is.
I feel we know each other
Which,
well
by
enough.
the
And that
way,
was an old bit from his act.
I might
Very funny
also
bit.
I might also add here, Larry David is so comfortable with all kinds of people and knows how to talk to people, any kind of people.
You mean in real
stature-
life?
In real life,
yes.
in
yeah.
real life.
But on the
But
show,
character-
he's awkward.
awkward.
On the
But
show,
why
he's
don't-
awkward.
Completely awkward.
People confuse the two, and
Yeah.
they wonder what's real, what's not. No, Larry is comfortable talking to any kind of person.
Yeah, he treats everybody the same.
Yes, he does.
He's at
He
ease
does.
with himself. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay,
But not
good.
on the show. Not
But
show,
not on the
Larry.
show.
No,
Otherwise, we
no.
have no show.
But I feel it's important to let people know that.
So then we cut to after the usted and the two, and he tips Carlos. And then they're in Jeff's office, and Jeff says, I heard you went to U2 last night. And you
And
have
I-
a whole riff with him about how you
But by the
pronounce
way,
B-O-N-O.
But by the way,
That was
my
very funny.
laughing is real. My laughing is real because the absurdity of him going to a U2 concert. And I know as we sit there, he's done no research. He knows nothing about U2. Nothing. He probably learned the Bono thing, but then he spelled it for purpose of the scene. But he knows nothing. He couldn't. I mean, he sang later on U2 songs. And I'm like, how do you know those? You know, okay.
But as we know, this probably on show life, this scenario probably happened in real life.
Right.
Where the housekeeper told somebody.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the
where he
housekeeper.
was.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about me laughing at him having
Yes,
gone
yes,
to
yeah.
U2.
Yes. And
Okay.
you guys have that whole riff, and he tells you about the Christmas tree, and then you two go off on the Jews with trees, and why do we
But by
need
the
to
way,
horn in on their holiday?
hold on. Why do we need to horn on that? But then the thing that really made us furious, two Jews who get a tree.
It's a little unsettling, you know?
It's unsettling.
Nothing worse than Jews with trees.
At least your wife's not Jewish.
Well, my wife's
but-
not Jewish, yeah.
But those couples?
Two Jews getting trees, they can't let them have their holiday. We have to horn in on their holiday. What do we have to get in on it? Not
Makes me
everything.
crazy.
You know, and Larry's answer is, can't we
You mean
just
a
leave
couple, two Jews, a couple.
Two Jews, a couple
Yeah.
having a tree. He goes, can't we just leave them alone with their holiday? Why do we have to get in on it? I thought that was hilarious.
And then the phone call, Susie's on her way up. And we see you two get scrambling because Jeff told Susie that there was something on the phone bill about Jeff had a phone call when Susie was out of town at 2:00 in the morning, and it was a platonic friend, but 10 o'clock is the cutoff for a platonic friend. Jeff told Susie that Cheryl and Larry had a fight, and Larry slept over, and Larry was speaking to the housekeeper at 2 a.m. You make everything so much worse, Jeff.
Okay, I do. But I want to point out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's another one later on that I believe this is the first lie Larry and I have come up with in terms of you, Susie. I believe it's the first lie. Now, we've done it together. We've lied to you about the doll's head and different things.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first out-and-out lie that we prepped based on it's not a platonic friend. It's some woman that I know that I'm probably having sex with. And anyhow, I think this is the first. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But nonetheless, this is my observation.
You know, it's all a blur to me. All the
seasons and the episodes.
Yes, and
I know
all the machinations and the lies these two told me.
All the lies.
But I think this is the first time.
Okay,
it could be.
Sweet.
It could be. And then so I come up and I confront. Who are you calling at 2 a.m.?
Wait. I have another one. This is the first time that there's levels to your and Larry's relationship. You kiss him hello. You're very friendly until. And then you change your tone and you leave. So I think this is the first time where there's a nuance.
I say to you, you're lying. I say to both of you,
No.
lying.
It's not that. It's when you come in and kiss Larry.
Yes.
It's the first time we see nuance, and also that there's maybe more to your relationship with Larry. All right, first time.
Right.
Okay.
Then I accuse you both of lying. One of you is lying. You're lying. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know which one. I leave, and then you guys are going to go to the club to do some tipping.
We don't even talk about you. We just go, all right, let's go to the club.
It's a fact of life, Jeff. I'm a fact of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go to the club, and it's and tipping, a whole tipping montage. And then Larry thinks he tipped one guy twice.
And it's just like, I wrote it down, the tip. Larry, one of the key things, and of the character, never lets anything go. Never let it go. So you tip the guy twice.
Right.
You're rich as can be. Why?
Just
let it go.
I've had the
and
same
by the
thought.
way,
All right. The guy's making minimum wage. He's a waiter. Let him have 2 tips.
Right.
What's the worst that could happen?
And by the way,
it's the principle. It's the principle.
It's a principle.
Yeah.
It's always the principle.
And by the way, real life Larry David, crazy generous.
Yeah.
Just saying, crazy.
And the waiter denies that he was tipped twice. And then he says to him,
So you're saying I only tipped you once?
Yes. Do you want your first tip back?
No.
Okay.
I'd like my second tip back.
There was no second tip.
I'd like my second tip back.
Which is so delightful.
And then they have a stare down.
Okay, now I believe, again, that's the first stare down that we've had.
Oh, interesting.
I don't
think so, Jeff. I seem to remember there was but I could be wrong.
No, because you know why I think, because I'm not sure, but as I watch the episode, there's 3 stare downs. We would never do that. Yeah, so I think he was establishing, and then he thought, "Oh, that's good," and kept doing it.
Yeah,
I think this is the first stare down. I think.
You know, there are listeners who are such aficionados that they'll know.
Yeah,
they
they're
will know.
Swearing my name.
Yeah.
Jeff Garlin, you should know better.
You don't know anything about this show.
And then we're just in it. And then after the stare down, home to Cheryl, and your parents are decorating the tree.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this one right in here. Larry, hi.
Hi, Larry.
Look, Merry Christmas.
You're here. What do you think? You like it?
Kind of big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah. Grab a ball.
What do you remember about your parents, Cheryl? I mean, there was Paul Dooley and Julie. They were so great.
Julie Payne.
Yeah.
They were just so funny. They knew exactly what bothered Larry, you know, and just their mere existence. Just them being so joyful and gleeful and putting the ornaments on the tree. They knew,
But the thing about
as performers, how
to do it.
much that would bother Larry for him to walk in and see that. Yeah.
And
Paul
Julie, I know Paul
always
was
gave him-
a Second City guy, right?
Yes, and he
But
also-
what about Julie?
I don't know. I don't know what her background was.
affiliation. I think it's an improv. I'm pretty sure. But
Well, she's terrific.
But what I want to say about Paul Dooley was Paul Dooley also knew the exact moment to be upset with Larry, to give Larry the evil eye. He knew exactly when, because he never did it. Like later on this episode, when he's leaving after Larry's choking, and he's heard Larry choke numerous times, he goes, you ought to see somebody about that.
Yeah.
But it's the perfect moment. Like he was just, and there's a part in this thing. I want to see where you go now, Susie, and then I'll see.
So they start to, it's a huge tree. Larry's like, it's a big one. He's like a nonplussed that it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. And then your mother says, what did you get Cheryl? And Larry says, I'm thinking of giving her my grandfather's talus, which...
And then Paul says it's like a Jewish
let's
scarf.
tell our audience what a talus is. They don't even know. Some of these people, a talus is it's like Jewish men wrap it around themselves when they're davening and praying.
Why?
Why? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's decorative.
But here's what I want to say about that line was that came out in a One for Fun. That came out like One for Fun, which is probably a term other shows use, but on Curb, it means not only are you improvising, but go any direction you want. Say anything you want, stick to the story, but do whatever you want. He came up with it at the end and the last take. And I came up to him and I said the thing I always say to him, if you do not use that, I will wrestle you. I will wrestle you hard to the ground because that was perfection. And that's one of the hardest laughs I ever had on the show.
And then he gags again, and he says it's a grape stem. And then he goes into the kitchen, and Cheryl and Becky are baking. They're baking Christmas cookies. And Cheryl says to Larry, Dora's upset. You never wear the scarf she gave you. It's a red, itchy scarf. And Dora brought it up and brought up that Larry yelled at her for telling people where he goes, and he tipped Carlos twice as much as he tipped Dora. So Cheryl then suggests, take Dora to lunch at the club, which is odd, but
by the way,
whatever.
I found it terribly odd. And the only purpose for him to do that is for
when we come in.
Is you and her having a conversation behind Larry and I. That's the only purpose. There is no other purpose.
But it's a very funny scene.
Yes.
Because, first he confronts Carlos about the Christmas bonus, and they have a stare down.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
Second stare down.
This is not normal. So,
And then he's at lunch with Dora at the club, and there's awkward about, you're terrific with the soy milk. You replenish the soy milk and you anticipate, and you're a great folder.
I never see cardboard when I have the toilet paper. I've never seen cardboard. I mean, it's just so awkward.
And then you see him just trying to come up with stuff,
Yeah.
And the sponge replacement, not so hot. He has a little bit of a criticism. And then the waiter that he accused of taking 2 tips come over.
Finished?
No.
Okay. Señorita, ¿algo más?
No, gracias. Muy amable.
Oye, ¿qué hace con el viejo este,
Pues hoy trabajo en su casa, fíjese.
Ah, qué pena.
No me pagan mucho.
No, claro que no. Mira, si te regala algo, dale un recibo.
¿Sí?
What was that all about?
Christmas.
I don't know what they're saying because I don't speak Spanish.
But hold on, though. You know what they're saying.
But I don't know. Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, I think they were saying something like he doesn't pay me much. He doesn't pay me much.
Something like that.
I was watching with somebody who spoke Spanish. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What do you know?
And then the Greens show up Jeff and Susie and Sammy. And
Sammy.
And I see that he's with Dora, and I'm like, all right, I made a mistake. Maybe you did call Dora in the middle of the night, which I don't. That's a little much of a little bit of a stretch there, but
you're
whatever.
Like, okay, you guys are friends. All right, I get it. Or
whatever.
I know. Okay.
You just
well,
go
by
with
the
it.
way, it made complete sense to me that would. I love your makeups with Larry where you don't know that it's bullshit. Like the ones where you really believe it, kill me. And he, of course, is Mr. Magnanimous.
And then, you insulted me. You insulted my friend. You know, you get into a whole fucking thing.
Yes.
And then you guys go off, and I say to Dora, "You seems like such a lovely woman. I don't know why Cheryl doesn't like you."
Yes.
I'm always getting the short end of the stick with you people.
Yeah.
And then
poor Dora.
You and Jeff and Larry go into this is the greatest coincidence that we happen to walk into the club and blah, 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 fix the whole lie and blah, 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 blah. And then Larry goes home and they're caroling. You're all caroling. Well, you're not there. You're in the other room. And Becky and your parents are caroling. Oh, come all ye faithful of all songs. And LD's gagging. And Cheryl asks to speak to Larry privately. And you tell him that Dora quit over what Susie Green told her that Cheryl doesn't like her. And then you tell the gig is up. The jig is up. It's the jig is up, right? What's the phrase?
I think it's the jig.
Is up?
Yeah,
the jig is up because you spoke to Susie and told her that it's bullshit about Dora. He never left the house and was calling Dora at 2 a.m. in the morning. So that's all done.
Unfolding.
And then
while the parents are singing. Yes.
You're all out there singing, and Larry's eating cookies and milk.
But I want to say something that he says earlier, which is another quality of this character I didn't realize. When we said leave well enough alone, it's also, I always refer to it as the cost of doing business. In other words, you want to stay in a room in a hotel, the cost is you leave money in the hotel. Whatever it is you want to do. And in life, it's like, these are your wife's parents. This is your wife's parents. It's Christmas time. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's only happening right now. Yeah, but so let it go.
Yeah, just roll with it.
It's called the cost of doing business. You got a wife. She's got parents. They're caroling. Cost of doing business. You have to hold your tongue. He doesn't hold his tongue.
No.
Okay.
I love caroling, by the way.
I've never caroled.
I love caroling.
I carol every year.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm invited to people's houses for caroling, and I go and I enjoy it.
Okay. Now, are they caroling show tunes?
No, they're caroling, oh, come all ye faithful, and Little Drummer Boy. And
not only have I never caroled, I don't recall carolers ever coming to my house or being in the neighborhood.
I guess you lived in a Jewish neighborhood.
No, I didn't, especially in Florida. No, I'm just saying I've never been around caroling except in this episode, which is not really caroling.
I find it a delight, right, Cheryl?
Yes, it is a delight.
Yes.
Okay.
So next morning, Larry's asleep, and we hear Cheryl calling from the bottom of the steps, Larry!
Larry!
What? What?
What happened to the cookies?
What?
The cookies!
The cookies from... What, from last night?
Yeah!
What? I ate them.
What? You ate them? They were for the manger scene. Larry, you ate the baby Jesus and his mother Mary.
I thought they were animal cookies.
Animal cookies?
Animals.
Oh,
What are you kidding?
Jesus Christ is not an animal, all
I
right?
thought he was a monkey.
A monkey?
Oh, please.
Larry, have you the Son of God was a monkey?
We worked all day on those cookies.
I'm sorry.
You didn't see the hay, the toasted coconut was hay, the barn.
I thought that was all part of the zoo.
Why don't we have a zoo on Christmas Day? Okay,
I think, you know what? I'll make it up to you.
How are you
Don't
gonna
worry.
make it up to us, Larry? Okay, you just swallowed our Lord and Savior.
I'll make it up. I'll go get another manger scene.
Yeah, where?
Nothing's open. It's Christmas.
Now, this scene is just one of the golden scenes of all time.
Yeah.
You know, they were for the manger scene, and Becky says, "You ate the baby Jesus and Mother Mary." Who came up with that line?
Well, can I tell you something? You know, this episode was based on when I went home to Florida and I was with my family, and they did make a nativity scene out of cookies with the toasted coconut or hay, and everybody was walking around saying, "Nobody eat baby Jesus." And I called Larry and I said, "You would die if you were here." And I told him what was going on. And I said, "And of course you would eat baby Jesus and my family would go crazy." And he said, "That's crazy. What else is going on there?" So, and then I'll tell you, you know, as we get to it, what else I told him. But yeah, so I had said, you would eat baby Jesus. And then, so when we asked him about eating the cookies, yeah, he threw in Mary too. He ate baby Jesus and Mary.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Larry, yes.
Yeah. And she thought it was a monkey.
That is.
Which is so hilarious. Stupid. He thought it was a monkey. Larry says, I thought they were animal cookies.
Yeah.
Like animal crackers in your soup. And then Becky's, Jesus Christ is not an animal. Becky's hilarious in this episode.
Caitlin Olsen.
Yeah, Caitlin Olsen.
is
and Cheryl's like, didn't you see the toasted coconut is the hay? And poor Cheryl, we just see what she has to put up. And Becky says, you just swallowed our Lord and Savior. I mean, it's just so bizarre. And people repeat these lines to me all the time. People remember these lines.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry says, I'll make it up to you. And again, he's pissed you off. He's pissed the whole family up.
And that's when Paul Dooley, as he has the thing in his throat as he's leaving,
he's gagging again.
You ought to see somebody about that.
Get that looked at. And then Larry's driving around. Oh, and this scene I remember quite well. And he sees Susie throwing Jeff's clothes out the window. You lying piece of shit! And wait till I get my hands on that Larry David, that four-eyed fuck.
You lying piece of shit!
What?
Out of my house!
What?
Out of my house!
I didn't lie.
Oh, you lied!
I didn't lie.
And wait till I get my hands on that goddamn Larry David, the four-eyed fuck! I'll kill him!
Now, what I remember about this scene is that, you know, Jeff and I have had many, many, many houses through the years.
Yes.
And that particular house, we got kicked out of that house because the neighbors complained about me cursing out, yelling and screaming and cursing out the window.
I don't remember that, but that makes sense.
It does. Imagine having like a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. They're like, what does that mean, Mom?
David.
Well, by the way, that scene was so much fun to film.
Yeah,
for you and
it was just throwing the clothes out the window and screaming.
And I don't know
you
what to do. I'm going in circles. I have no idea. It's hilarious because there is no defeating Susie Green. There is none. You're just in the shit that you're in.
Not Jeff or Larry.
Yeah.
And then Larry leaves after he hears me say, "Wait till I get my hands on that Larry David, that four-eyed fuck. I'll kill him." And Larry goes
Keeps
on,
driving.
and then he comes upon in front of a church a real life nativity scene going on. And he wants to rent the scene. He wants to rent the whole manger and the straw and the hay and the whole thing. And what do I have here? I hate the nativity scene. Did he say that? And he says, can you come to my house for a few hours?
When I was in Florida, and after I told him about the nativity scene, the cookies, and he said, what else is going on down there? And I said, well, you know, there are live nativity scenes here. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, people dress up like Mary and Joseph, and they have a little baby, and they stand in front of, you know, a house or a church. And he said, are you kidding me? I've never heard of this. And so I told him all of that. And so from that,
so Cheryl is the impetus for all of this.
Yeah, this episode, because this episode was really like based on.
And by the way, I didn't know this.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm not surprised, but I didn't know this. And by the way, giving Larry ideas and stuff like that has to be, you just happen to be telling him a story. You can't pitch him the idea. None of us
you don't pitch it that it's a show idea. You just tell him stuff.
Yeah, I just told him this is really funny, the stuff that's happening here. And if you were here, it would be a shit show.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
It would be. I mean, if
Yeah.
you were married to Larry and he
Oh
was
my
in
gosh.
Tallahassee for
my
Christmas,
God.
it would be very similar to this.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he hires them with a $500 donation to the church to come to the house and set up the night and a meal, and also a meal,
And a meal.
they'll get takeout. And Larry's kind of ogling Mary, you know. We
Which,
see
by the way, is so strange, not only on the show, but who Larry really is. And I don't remember him ever ogling anybody on the show.
No, but it worked for the what's
no.
going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Hold on. It
no, but I
worked,
agree
but-
with you about that. He's
Yeah.
not an ogler.
No, he's not. He's very
He's not
respectful.
a creepy. He's not a creepy guy.
No.
And then they're back home, and Larry's gagging away, just gag. And Joseph and all of that, and Mary and all of them, and the shepherds. And Larry's like, hello to the shepherds, and hello, Mary, and hello, Joseph. And they're setting up the whole thing. You know, Larry waves, hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the little baby.
Yes,
Okay.
we've
Look at
all
little
arrived.
Jesus. All right. You got little Jesus and the whole troop. All right. Very good.
We'll set right up in
All right.
short order.
Set up and let me know if you need anything.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
He adds that. He adds that. Yeah.
And he's sitting in the back smoking a cigar, which I've never seen.
I know. That was interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah. As they set up the major scene. Then he asks about the food. You want deli? You want Chinese? You want,
Yeah.
They'll take both. They'll take both
I
little
know.
orange chicken. And he continues to gag. And he tells Joseph, he feels the need to tell Joseph that he's gagging because he has a pubic hair stuck in his throat. We see Joseph is a bit taken aback. And then he sees Mary is up there putting together the manger, and she's reaching up, and he's like admiring her breasts, and he says something like, Mary's got quite the bod, you know? And,
Which is so
he
nuts.
says, Joey,
but it
between
works.
me and you.
It works.
Yeah. Joey, between you and me, you and Mary, anything? And then a fight ensues, a physical fight ensues, which I love when he gets into physical fights.
Yeah.
It's the most fun. And then, lo and behold, because he's having this physical fight, coughs up the pubic hair. And as
And he
he's
calms
coughing up
down
the pubic
everybody,
hair,
by the way. He's like, wait, hold on. And everyone stops.
I know. I did like that moment too, where it's like, hey, and he's touching his throat, and everybody does stop. It was so funny. It was like, I'm going to try that in my next fight.
yeah,
He's
just like, hey,
hey, stop for a second. Look at this.
you know what? I think that it's disarming.
I guess so.
It catches
Yeah.
people off guard. And we cut to Cheryl and Becky and Mom and Dad all standing there
Over
watching
him.
this fiasco.
Wait a second.
The pubic hair. It's out.
Watching him cough up the pubic hair and this entire fiasco of the manger and fighting with Joseph. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a great episode. And Cheryl, we learned something new today, right, Jeff?
What's that?
That Cheryl was the impetus for this whole,
Yeah.
I
I had
ate
no
the baby
idea.
Jesus.
No idea. No.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
Well, Cheryl, did you enjoy your time with us?
I really did. I really did. And I appreciate that, you guys maybe go back and watch these 2 episodes.
Hold
because-
on.
Wait,
we
hold on, we
watch
got one more.
every episode and many more to do. And to me, I've not seen these since either
No.
the cut that I saw that I was sent or watching it on HBO. I've not watched any episode ever. So
And,
it makes
when
it
did we
fresh
shoot
for
this?
me.
2003 we shot this,
Probably.
I think.
Probably.
Around 2003. So 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
It is. Do
20 years
do
ago.
you find it easy to watch?
Cheryl, all I do is notice how fucking skinny I was. I was so skinny. I was a whale. And I'm just
And by
like,
the way-
and at the time I didn't think I was so skinny.
Right.
That's the body dysmorphia, you know?
Yeah.
If I may, Cheryl,
Yes, you may.
you looked as beautiful as you did then. And you were, Susie and I have been commenting
How adorable you are.
How beautiful you are. But you still are knocked down gorgeous. That's all I want to say. And I wouldn't say to any man, what about you and Cheryl and getting a wrestling match?
Well, that's very kind. Thank you.
Sure.
And for our fans out there, Cheryl will be joining us for the next episode as well. So we will see you next time.
The opening.
And, the grand opening. And stay tuned. Cheryl Hines is going to be back.